Hello everyone, welcome back. Hopefully looks like audio's working. I'm trying out that NVIDIA audio filter, which with kids running around the house and dog barking, I hope that helps with some background noise. We shall see. Trying to figure out the right place to put this thing. Hey Brian, hey. How's it going? Yeah, so I was trying to figure out what to actually work on stream today. I was a little bit confused, didn't know what would make the most sense, and I decided today I was going to work on some client server stuff. I'd been working on Comet hot reload, and I wanted to redo the architecture of the reload mechanism and the communication. I started on this a little bit ago. I could build a fort. Done that a few times, waiting for the snow outside to melt. My daughter wants to build a fort in the yard, so definitely waiting for the snow to melt for that. Hey Matt, welcome. I've been doing fun stuff with Skia Sharp, and I just want to say thank you again for that. It's been very useful for doing cross-platform image manipulation. All right, but I think I'm gonna go back to this client server stuff, and I think I want to get it working a little bit more because I like the idea of having this dynamic server stuff. What I'm going for is allow lots of different ways for this communication to happen, because when you're building an app, all you care about is or something like this. When you want two things to talk, all you care about is, can I talk? Please send messages back and forth. And so this is a rabbit hole I can of course jump down. Right now I have a very basic TCP server. It's doing JSON, and it does okay at finding the end of messages. It's just looking for a null terminal or null character. What I might do is actually do a real message format though. So you actually do a header, say how long it is, so you know exactly the format and when to read. So maybe we'll work on some of that today. But like I said, I want to be able to just say, hey, make a connection between this thing and this thing. And here's all the different transports. Here's all the different communication methods. I don't care what you're doing under the hood. Just let me know when messages come back and forth. So that's kind of where I want to get. And last time we got kind of close. Let's jump over and switch to my screen. So can you guys hear my dog barking? How good is this NVIDIA AI to remove background noise? Because if you can't hear my dog, that's awesome. I was hoping Mailman's here. Yeah. All right. All right, so what I have here is this is the Comet reload repo. It is not open source yet. It will be, just not there yet. So I have this whole ESP. This is what I'm calling my library, because I just want it to just do what you want it to do, what you'd want it to do, and let it just take care of all that communication and just figure it out for me. All right, and so I do have samples in here for this. No, where did I put that? ESP samples. There we go. So I have a client and a server. And right now I'm specifying a bit of data. I'm saying a new server here, because you have to open up all the servers that'll listen. And then on the client side, I have this whole TCP communication client, get communicators, and then I have a find. I want to just say, hey, await discovery service, find a connection, and I want you to pass in all the types of communication things it can do, and let it just figure it out from there. I think what I need to do is TCP stuff. I was just letting them all run at once. Right now I was just saying, just having them fan out. I think I need a slight delay in between each of them, just in case one comes back faster than the other. Just a really slight delay. And that way they're done in order. So you pass them in the order you want them to come back as, and then that way, if two of them are instant, because it's both to local host, you don't have to worry about. I fixed all that last time, but I still think I want to fix some of that stuff anyway. All right, so we have all that. Get that, get that. I want to insert that actually. Why can't I type insert at 0? All right, ignore that. All right, so inside of here, I do this whole thing to where that is the TCP communicator. I want to go to the discovery guy. So right now for the discovery thing, I go through and I loop through each of these. What I want to do, and then I disconnect all the ones that were not the first one back, which is fine. And I think that'll work. So that way, if two come back at the same time, we'll be fine. And I don't need to wait for the disconnects. I do that anyway, but now when I run this will pop up two different things we have our two programs. This one is the hello with the client. Here's our client. Where did our server go? Server. So we have client server. And now for my server, I can say, hey, maybe I have it backwards. Oh, that should have done it. It says as a client. Because on my client, oh, I have breakpoint. Yeah, when you have breakpoints, things don't go. So hey, there it goes. Yes, this one says hi. Server loves you. And it only got one connection. Even though inside my connection things, I pass back multiple. I pass back, when we look at what the connection thing is, it's going to get back all the different IPs. So it actually looks for 3 of these. My IP addresses have changed. I just redid all of my router stuff yesterday. Or not yesterday, the day before. I got one of the new Unify or Ubiquity, the Dream Machine ones, whatever, the all-in-one. So kind of excited. Had a bunch of the access points, but I was running my own management stuff. So this should have multiples go really fast. Client connected too. See, that's what I wanted to fix, was make it to where 2 of them don't connect. And I thought I made it disconnect. Do we not tell it on disconnect? I think we do. So let's go into the server and make sure we print out when stuff disconnects. Do I have a disconnect? I do not. So whenever we send the message, we are going to, for now, just debug that we're outputting all this crap. Oh, we're doing right here, sending it to, that's right, we are going to, after each time we send, this is, all right, so that's the client, this one's server. And then inside of here, after we send something, we will say console.writeLine to, and I want to say how many clients, because we should be auto disconnecting it. I just want to make sure that's working. And then maybe we might not have to dig too much into this server stuff at this point. We can jump into some fun stuff of actually hooking this in and making this work with hot reload. All right. And it didn't kill those off. Ah, see, the one was disconnected, so it tried sending to it, and then it's like, oh, it's actually dead, and it disappeared. So our thing is working like it should. And it's sending data back and forth. Oh, right. Which fonts? These fonts. I can bump these up when I load up the new ones. So this is that one freaking out because we disconnected it like it should, but it still only has one. And you can see it going back and going to it. This one I didn't make it to where we can send data back, but we don't need to. All right. So now we get to deal with some fun stuff. Let me close all these. Quit all terminal. Terminate processes, just because I get too many of those windows open. All right, so what we're going to look at now is we have our little client and we have our little server, and it can do all those little cute things for us. Like, I really like that I can just say, hey, this, I think I want to make the TCP communicators, I want it to do it one at a time. We're going to change this. We're going to change the discovery service. All right, so we're going to group these by type, because we should only do one type at a time. So if we pass in multiple types, that's cool, but one type should only do one at a time. Just, I don't know, I really feel strongly about that. And we can make it a Boolean to handle that if not. So what we'll do, okay. What we'll do is we will say var grouped all right, so var grouped communicators equals communicators dot group by x dot get type. to list is always faster. So to list, this gives us a list of a grouping of type and client. Perfect. All right. So now we have a grouped thing. So that way each of them, first, at this case, we're only going to get one group because we're only passing in the TCP communicators. But then those TCP communicators are just going to go one at a time rather than them all fanning out and doing 3 of them at once, trying all 3 IPs at the same time. So we'll do each IP one at a time. These should time out really, really, really fast, especially since the first one's localhost, and it should go down in the order and eventually pop off. So grouped communicators, let's do that. Now we're going to do our tasks equals communicator dot select. Trying to think of the right way of doing this. I think we might do a task dot run. All right. Now for each var c in x dot, oh no, grouped communicators in x dot value, is it, it's not the key, there's a value, is it? There is key. What's the other value on this thing? I know there's something on this. I grouping x dot. Anyone else remember what that is on these I grouping things? That's a list of that. Is it just the X? The X? Because no, I need to get access to the communicator inside of it. X is the list. Oh, is X list C dot? No, C dot. Okay, so C is the list, and then perfect. So we're going to do each of these one at a time. All right, perfect. And we're going to pass in cancellation token. Token, perfect. Oh, wait. Okay, so that's what I wanted. And let's make this async. All right, so now that we're doing these as a group, we can say if result dot item 1 is success. I should really make that thing named, but I haven't gotten there yet. Okay, if success, return result. And I need to make this a task of, this is a task of bool client. All right. Did I do that right? No, actually this doesn't need to be typed. What am I thinking? Task.run that. Now if I do that, else return false. They all were false. All right, so that will give us back the first good one, which is what we really care about. So now I can just do tasks. This is not needed anymore. All right, wait for success. Oh, I did this. So when any. That's right. Okay, I think that's good. Now it's going to. Oh, that's going to then go cancel all the ones that were successful, where X. and X, and no, that's not right. I think that'll be fine if we just do question mark dot. So that'll disconnect all the other ones because we only care about the first one. So now let's run this again. And this time we should only get one connection, not two. And it should still happen pretty fast. Yes. Where's my other one? So client is connected. Server says it has one. So now I can say, hey, and it's getting the messages. And we only got one connect this time. Now, if I add in a new communication type, we should be able to test that one of them connects, which is fine. We'll just go with the one. We only need the one. Okay, I like it. I'm happy. All right, so now that we have this, we should be able to mix this into our existing stuff pretty nicely. Now, the way the Comet reload stuff works, let's jump into the IDE. So there's this Comet reload IDE, and there's this IDE manager. That right now uses the old stuff. And there's the build tasks. This, yes. Projects, just need to make sure we're doing all this right. I think that just needs that. All right, so reload core, a lot of these are shared projects. The reason is I wanted to build it the same, regardless of which IDE I'm building this in. So let's add in, not those, let's go add in the projects. So we're going to add in ESP. No, I need to downgrade that. All right. All right, so we're going to downgrade this. Let's hope that doesn't break everything. Hope it doesn't. Cannot restore packages. Always happens when you downgrade. Freaks out. Restore manually. Anyone else building anything fun? You guys working on anything? Any side fun projects? I started playing with doing some stuff with some depth data and images and putting them into Unity. That's what I was doing last night. Trying to just build some cloud point data from images and depth maps and just seeing what I can make the objects do. And maybe if I can get something cool, start doing some AI stuff on that, where I can try and make proper objects from the cloud point stuff and try and clean up the objects. Maybe even clean up some of the bad pixels and stuff based off what gets put into it. All new to me. Never done any of that before, so it's been fun learning all that stuff. Okay, let's, oh, actually that, I shouldn't have to, don't want to build. What am I thinking? Make sure we're stopped. Let's go make sure we can make those references now. Projects, ESP. All right. We've got that. Now we also need to go, oh, actually this one doesn't need the resources. Dependencies, project. You don't need resources, you only need that one. The reload platform stuff, this is where and that's just the shared one. What we'll do here is references. It's going to get both. References, it's going to get both. And you're going to get both. Okay, you already have both. I actually don't use the iOS one there. It's just there for fun. But, you know. All right, reload. This runs the server. We need to change all this code out. All right, and it is using the one from ESP, so perfect, perfect. I like it. Now let's go grab our stuff from here. So now let's go to reload. All right, Now the question is, do we teach the discovery service how to keep like retrying and then maybe tell us, hey, we've got a new collection? Because wouldn't it be cool if you like disconnected and then the server went through and tried all those same connections again and said, well, that IP is gone, but I can get to it this route, and then sends you the new client? I think that would be awesome. So maybe we can work on some of that stuff, because that would be great. All right, so run internal instance.run internal. Okay. Perfect. Let's do this then. For now, we're just going to put this here. I'm going to say, go get all those. We're going to change this up a bit because I don't actually need. Okay, I'm going to let you pass in that. Constants comes from here. All right, perfect. So what I will do, and then we can also say, if you have an IP, we don't have to, we can throw that into the mix as well. All right. So if IDE port is not equal to null, TCP clients dot insert, we will say into 0, new TCP client, and we just set, I'm trying to remember how that worked. Yeah, IP. Perfect. Okay. So what am I doing? I always cut. I don't know why my default is cut instead of copy. I just do it all the time. All right, so now what we're doing is we're saying, hey, go get all these. If you happen to pass in an IP because you know your server's IP, I want people to be able to say, okay, I've got all these things and I want them all to be able to connect back into the IDE. So if you know them all, I'll let you pass that thing in. And then we'll say connection equals await discovery service. Find connections. Yes. Okay. And then we don't have to do any of this. Client. We know we're connected. Connecting. All right. We will. We don't need to do all this because this is, well, that's where it would have been, huh? It's all right. Client. iCommunicator client. Go to this. Much better. Delete that. Ask iCommunicator client. Didn't I? Oh, we're going to delete that. Not doing that anymore. Why is this? Oh, semicolons are useful. All right. Now we're connected. And we don't need any of that. Now that should connect. Now we get to go do some of the same stuff over. I don't think we have to change anything on the server side or the client or the, we need to finish the build task stuff. We don't have to change anything on the server side though, as the IDE. Let's double check it, but I think the IDE stuff should just work. So the IDE manager is just going to open up the TCP server and off it goes. I guess we did need that. Let's add that in. There. Oh, I just realized that's not in the right place. Actually, did I? I can't get my mouse. Share mouse crashed. Couldn't get over to my streaming machine. All right, so I think I've got that. Oops. Yeah, it's in a good spot. All right, so now we should have our communication stuff working. Lots of build errors. I'm okay with that. Let's fix build errors. All right, we're already using result. Let's also go to I should have done that a long time ago. Name those things. All right. I don't have to do that same wait for success anymore. Wait, do I? Oh, that was only on the new stuff. Let's do this the long way. Dot is canceled. And, oh, I think these are all ands, aren't they? Okay, I guess I don't need all these then. All right, so at the new .NET Standard 2.1, there's is completed successfully. So you don't have to do that. Actually, just too many there. All right, much better. Those nice little things you take for granted. All right. Process message, clients.remove. Okay, assembly weaver. You need fixed. All right, get that, clean that up. Comment.reload. We are going to go and we need to find the right something. That comes from here, right? Okay, that's all fixed. All right, so that's going to redo the resource file in that DLL for us. Set it up right. Let's build again. All right, we're getting somewhere. Process message internally. What is client here? Concurrent dictionary. This is the downside to downgrading things when you're doing in .NET Standard. Yeah. We can do that. It's just fun when you're like, my code built. I changed the target and instantly nothing builds. Thank you. Thank you very much. And actually, all right. Newton Soft. Different versions of Newton Soft. 2.3. Let's update. Okay, reload, iOS, packages, update. Update. Let's go update it here. I was using the new system.text.json stuff on this other project I was working on, but they still haven't shipped the default serializers for dictionary yet. And I'm like, all right, back to JSON.net. Eventually, though, I'll switch all this over to system.text.json. Just not ready for it yet. All right. Hey, port's already in use. That's expected, because we have a server running. And also, no, that should be fine. Oh, I don't want to start the server. I'm debugging the wrong thing. All right, so now we are going to debug the extension. Let's do this. Hot reload VS Mac. So we're going to debug the extension, which will launch a new version of Visual Studio. When that happens, the new one will have my extension running in it. And we can put breakpoints in here. Right here to check. Now, this is going to slow things down, guys. 2 instances of Visual Studio, one debugging the other. Things get a little slow. So, pardon the speed. All right. Let's we'll load the same solution again, so then we can run this sample. And if this works, I'll do a local NuGet to update this to a new version, and then I will test it. Sorry, I was turning up my mic. I realized I couldn't hear myself, and I was probably yelling. I yell if I can't hear myself. So yeah, that'll make it to where we can just test it locally outside of this environment. We'll just package this and install it into the IDE. I like it. All right. This is up. Now here, we're going to debug this. Let's see what happens. Uh-oh. Errors. Okay, assembly weaver failed. I'm okay with that. All right, this is going to change its, what is it? ESP dot. All right, saved that. Every time we save code, we try and reload. Nothing's connected, so nothing gets sent. Now we rewrote those targets. So now when this thing, if we put a breakpoint, actually, let's stop that. We should go to Discovery Service. We got a connection. We're connected. Exciting. What's up with my mic? All right, that sounds better to me. Yes, and it even shows which IP, localhost. So excited. Hot Reload is connected using the new stuff. All right, now let's check to make sure it still works. Samples. Sample. Let's click into what? All right, so let's check something. Binding sample. Binding sample. Ugly, ugly page. So it starts with bar. And what all do we see? Let's move this. You guys can't see my whole ID. What am I thinking? Do that. Let's move this right here. So this text dot color dot fuchsia. So are we connected to the right server? All right, I have two versions of this thing running. That's the problem. So I have the one running in the, wait, no, server? Why does it say there's no connection, no connected clients? I think the issue is I have two of them running. I have one in each instance of Visual Studio. And so the new one, no, I got the handle changed, but if I'm connected, let's verify which IP we're running this thing on. Let's start there. Let's make sure that we are having the two things communicate, because if the two instances of the IDE, like I said, I think I already have this extension installed, the one that we're building and debugging, and you don't, so yeah. That could be part of it. Hey, file not found in image. It's all fine and dandy. All right, so let's look at when we create this server. Let's put a breakpoint in here. When we start listening, right there. Put a breakpoint there. Reload. I don't know at what point I load that thing, but I don't think it's until after the project loads. Might be too late. Right, we don't start the server until we start debugging. Am I not calling start on this client? I don't know. Let's just watch. No, but the client connected. But like I said, I have two. I think I'm having issues with two of them. We may need to... I think in here... Don't I have a script to build this thing? Because I can never remember how to build those packs. Let's see what's happening here. Maybe I never tell it to start. I think I do it as soon as I start debugging. I say load this. Hey, so I am working on an extension for hot reloading C# code, and I'm working on the client server communication part right now for the app and the IDE to communicate to send data back and forth. So it's all for this guy. But yeah, I'm working on the hot reload part that deals with that two-way communication, or the client server stuff. And I think I'm running to an instance of having 2 servers running. So I can't connect to I'm not connecting to the right one. All right, so this is connecting on this port 9988. Now, when I press play here, we're going. Yay, that's working. Now let's go test. Oh, I didn't have a breakpoint in my client. Let's stop debugging this one. I've got 2 instances of Visual Studio open, and we're debugging like crazy. All right, so let's go to ESP, our discovery service, and let's put this here. I want to see what port this thing. Okay, this starts up our server, still that 9988. And okay, that's still here. Now we're over on the client side. The client is connected. And what's our port? 9988. Okay. So if that's connected, we should now have clients. So I should be able to go to whatever page I was on, hit space. Why does this say we have no clients? Very, very interesting. All right, so let's put a breakpoints in here when the server gets a connection. The only thing I can think of is like I have 2 instances of this, but then this shouldn't have started. During this launching TCP communicator service, we got an exception. All right, so let's see what happened there. Oops, I didn't need to stop that. Okay, dang it, stopped the wrong one. All right, so I didn't look at the output there. We are getting a crash. Something's not happy. Also, sound-wise, is my mic peaking or anything? Does everything sound okay? I'm always paranoid about the sound. I'm always tweaking it, and I shouldn't. Hopefully it's good. Awesome. So the old Comet reload extension, the one that's in NuGet right now, only lets you connect to one, or it only has one IP. It always checks the first one. What happens is you'll notice on build, I'm writing to that resource file, the current IPs, into this IP text. So yes, it has mine hardcode in there because I was testing, but these get overwritten with the local ones. So those go away and have whatever your local IPs are, so I know where to find your IDE. It would always just take the first one. Now, I don't have to do that. Since I have this discovery thing, it can loop through each of them, find the one that connects to the fastest, and off it goes. Which is pretty awesome. So, yeah. And to be honest, I should always just put that one first. Make sure it does that. And I always want that one first. Oh well. Okay, so that's loading. This is loading. Second Visual Studio, here we go. Launch Comet reload again. Let's watch what happens in the first instance with that server. It's getting a weird crash. I don't know what that is. Trying to force. Why is the swipe from there it goes? I'm going to make this second window nice and small. That way we can see the IDE and I can keep track of which one I have so I don't click stop on the wrong one. So we're going to click debug. We know the instance of this connection stuff does connect because we watch it happen. But how does that happen if we got an error? Oh, I'm debugging the wrong thing. All right, so we want to debug the iOS sample. Do I have from one of my old... Do I have an old... server sitting up? Because probably using the same ports. All right, so press start monitoring. It's going to start listening on that port. We can remove some of these breakpoints. We don't need them. All right. Okay, why is this getting exception? Socket already in use. All right, so let's go into our constants. Let's change all this. So we are just, I don't know what's keeping that port open. It could be one of these other ones that I had running. Could be the other instance of Visual Studio. Very possible. Very, very possible. So we'll run this again, new IPs. Then we know we're connecting to the right one. And I'd like to change ESP at some point to use Bedrock. I started with that in the last stream I was working on this, but Bedrock can't be used yet from .NET Standard, which is like, so we can do that. Hurts. But this little thing works. And we can add in some new clients really easy. All right. All right, so let's load that again. Shrink this window down to normal size again. All right, looks perfect. Let's debug the iOS app. All right, so this time, server listening should work. We should also, inside of the discovery service, it should also connect. All right. No exception this time. So let's put this right here for client connecting. Oh, we're probably already connected, right? Started receiving updates, new connection. Yay, we got a message back. We are definitely connected. So let's go into this binding sample. And yes, it's receiving updates. We're all connected. Binding sample. All right, so now on binding sample, let's go remove that fuchsia because we don't need that. Where was, let's close all. Too many things open. Use original. All right. And we have a connected client. That's all it was. Let's remove some breakpoints because that's too much. Can't actually type in hot reload. So you'll notice it didn't hot reload because it's like, I don't know what to do with this data. It's bad. It's working. Now, the nice thing about this new thing I just did is we need to make sure we expose this, and I think I do, inside the reload. So eventually I want to follow the same hot reload stuff that we're doing for XAML, to where you'll notice the Xamarin Form XAML hot reload does not have a reload in it, right? This does not exist. So what I want to do is make it to where that's not needed. But if you do it and you pass in an IP, you can pass in whatever IP you want to your specific machine. So you can add the NuGet. Now you can connect to your machine from any device, no matter what, and you can connect them all in, which that's pretty exciting, which will make it to where, and we could do some UDP style discovery or whatever to make it work, but I like this. So now when I'm ready, I can throw in that USB connection stuff, which will work the same thing with this discovery. I will then just inside of this reload init, where I'm doing this whole discovery service, this discovery service, I will just pass in USB. So that way it'll try USB, and if USB fails, it'll then fall back to the TCP stuff. Pretty freaking awesome. That's what I wanted. All right. That's working. Let's commit some stuff. I wonder what I should work on now then. A lot of changes. ESP library. All right. That's exciting. All right. Not done yet. What should we work on next? Now that the reload is more stable, more options. I can't work on the USB stuff. I don't think, none of that stuff's open source. So I don't think I can work on any of that on live stream. So I'll do some of that in the shadows. But while instead of that, I wonder, there's some new architecture stuff for Comet I've been wanting to do. I wonder if we work on re-architecting some Comet stuff. Anyone have any preferences? I do have a WPF font pull request I can fix up on forms. I wasn't expecting to finish this that quickly. Clipping working properly on Android. Ha ha ha. All right. I can do that. I can do that. I agree. All right. Wow, Bald Builder, thank you for the raid. Wow. There's a lot of you guys. That is exciting. I'll save. How is everyone doing? We are working on a new framework, a UI framework called Comet. And I am having a blast building it. We just worked on some new awesome functionality. Actually, I have 2 instances of Visual Studio open. But what I was working on was the hot reload fun code that makes it to where as you're working on an app, and we're going to go work deeper into it in a second. 30-foot overview though, or 1,000-foot overview, whatever that is, really high up overview. It's a C# framework that lets you use this MVU style pattern, the model view update, and it lets you build things in a very, very fluent API in C#, which is fun. So you can do little things like this. That's, of course, that makes a button look very, very complicated. I thought I had a simpler which sample to look at instead. Right, sorry, I was debugging. So breakpoints are hitting everywhere. All right, so inside of here, if we look at close. Let's hope that that all those port things I just did, guys, let's hope they're still right, because I could have just broken something. All right, so inside of here, we can look at a sample. Oh, this one. So the idea behind it is to let you write really nice and simple apps and really cool things. And just if you like C# and you don't like doing XAML or things like that, It also has some really fancy things. It lets you do like shape views, and you can do image sample. That's the one I always go to. ClipShape, Clip Sample 1. So Clip Sample 1 shows off the power of this type of stuff. So if you go to Clip Sample 1, I have everything's done in this update pattern. So there's a function, a body that is called that returns the UI. So whenever things change or trigger like state changes to update an UI, you can diff a virtual DOM and then update the UI, similar to how HTML works. So right now it says load an image, add a clip shape with a circle, and then let's also overlay a circle with a white border and align with a 4. But what's really cool about this stuff, am I in the right one? No, guys, we just broke it because we're on the wrong port. The stuff I was just doing broke the port. Gray Bilberry, thanks for the follow. Let me stop this. Let me close one instance of Visual Studio and start that little demo again. When I only have one instance open, that's not going to happen. All right, let's go back to Comet. There it was. Hey, I missed that follow. Sorry, I was reading, trying to find a solution. Thank you for the follow. Hey, Waziboy. How do you say it? Wazabai Dev? I don't know. Horrible at pronouncing things. Thanks for the follow. All right, so let's jump in and do a sample again. This time we'll do it with, we'll do it appropriately. And it should connect because now I don't have those weird ports. You guys caught me right as I was in the middle of finishing up something and I changed ports, which of course broke everything. So let's run this again. We have our clip sample 1 here with a clip shape, overlay, hot reload should work. Hey, Retro CRT, thanks for the follow. I miss my old CRT monitor. I do. It was so big, so nice. Back then, I thought so. All right, so clip sample 1. So we're in clip sample 1, and now if hot reload is working, and it should be. Oh no, it's working. Okay, so now I can just type, and you'll notice the cool thing about this framework is I don't miss moving my CRT monitor ever. I used to bring it to my cousins. We used to do like LAN parties every other weekend, and packing up your old desktop. And I had a 19-inch or 20-inch CRT. It was a beast. It was awesome. All right, but you'll see how instantly as I'm typing, I can see how this stuff reflects. So it makes it really easy to explore these APIs and instantly see what's going on, and it's really fun. Let's give this a shadow of like 50, because why wouldn't you have a 50 shadow? And as you're playing with these things, I think shadow can also take a color, fuchsia. Let's give it a pink shadow. Check that out. So the nice thing about this is as you're building things, you don't have to keep stopping and starting and even pressing refresh. You just code, and anything you do is reflected instantly. And it's because of just the architecture. I can just at any point re-execute this body when I know something changed, diff the DOMs, whatever changed, apply those changes to the actual native UI, which is really, really, really powerful. And it lets you do really, really complex things. Like normally, if you're doing stuff from the C# world and you're using the XAML, you have to like do all these bindings to hide things and all these converters to where if the count equals 0, then hide this thing, else show it. And you don't have to do any of this thing because you can just do your code. So, so yeah, I'm going to work on some of the stuff, and I want to work on Android right now. So Android, I wonder if this branch has the ClipShape stuff I was working on. So the scripter so kindly asked me to work on ClipShape stuff. And see how well that ClipShape stuff worked on iOS? It does not work as well on Android. And I have a branch of some code that I've been working on. Let me go to Comet. I have a reload Android branch I was working on. Android ClipShape. Okay, so we're just going to leave, let's just discard all those changes. Those are all pointless. All right, so let's jump into ClipShape. So Yeah, this type of coding I find really fun. And I'm doing it at a different layer. I'm not building things with it. I'm actually building the framework. And this type of framework. This is the only one like it in C#. And there's lots of interesting things that go along with that. And what I need to do now is work on one of Android simulator just launched. I heard the fancy sounds. All right, so I have my Android emulator up. What I need to do for this then is to work on the ClipShape stuff. So let me just run this. I started getting ClipShape stuff working. Maybe some of it works. I don't remember. Yeah, it's a mean thing to suggest, Steven. I have it working well enough on a different project I started doing, but I don't have it working well enough here in Comet. So we have this control, and there's a container view. So the way the ClipShape stuff does, whenever you add a shape, ClipShape, it creates a container view to add your normal view in of it, so that way I can clip using that. And I was doing stuff with this outline provider because this outline provider stuff looks amazing on Android until you realize it only works with basic shapes. Made me very, very, very angry when I realized that, because what if I don't want to use basic shapes? So clip sample, it's a square. And yeah, we can fix this. We can do it. I just want to make sure we're actually using this stuff. No. What is going on? Do I have stuff? I don't know what state this branch is in. Let's just make sure we're even using this thing. ClipShape. No, we're not. All right. Well, let's make sure we're using this. Find references. Inside of an Android container, we do this thing. Here we go. If container view. And we set this container view. If has container gets set. So what are we making? We are working on a UI framework for building apps using C# using this thing called Comet. This is the framework we're working on. And we're working on some Android stuff. Right now we're working on clipping and clipping shape view stuff in Android, which is actually a nightmare and is horrible and very low level stuff. And if this is boring to people, we can work on something more fun. This is just Steven being mean to me and suggesting this is what I work on because he's evil and not very nice. And he knows how much I dislike this stupid thing. All right. So has container is going to get set if certain things are set on this thing. So has container gets set under, where is this stupid thing? All right. I thought that gets set under certain updating things. Yeah, I'll work on something else instead if you guys want. I want to re-architect this structure, some of the structure on this thing. This thing's not fun, but I don't mind doing it. So ClipShape stuff is supposed to auto trigger that thing. How does that work on iOS? Now I gotta remember. iOS handlers. There's this abstract handler which is going to set has container never. View handler does that. That's what happens. So view handler on Android works the same way. Takes a minute for me to remember architecture when I'm switching projects, and I haven't been able to work on this in a little bit. All right, there we go. Now if I start this thing should fire, and it should give us this container, tell us the container is true. Oh, career talk. Yeah, we can talk that stuff. So my career is an interesting one. I'm self-taught. I did not go to school. I went to like a couple semesters of community college and dropped out. It's too expensive, which is funny for community college, but yes, it's too expensive. And I was working and just stuck with work instead. And so I used to do IT. I was definitely in the IT space, and was running a franchising company, running their IT department and running IT for all their stores. and all that kind of fun stuff, and started programming and started getting into things on the side and just taught myself to program because I got bored at work. And when you're in IT and you get things working smoothly, you can get bored pretty easy. And yeah, I just got bored and started programming. And eventually got a job programming. Hey, we're getting container view now. All right, run this again. That's adding. And from there, I started doing stuff with the mobiles. As soon as like iPhones came out, I started programming for the iPhone while doing a horrible job of it. And eventually found out about this thing called, at the time, Mono Touch, which later formed a company called Xamarin. I joined Xamarin pretty early on, within the first few months of them being created, because I just loved their stuff. So we are getting this thing, and it's doing something. That's nice. All right. So yeah, I joined Xamarin, and Xamarin was eventually acquired by Microsoft. So that's how I got into Microsoft. And I had an awesome career through all that. I got really, really lucky. All through the Xamarin days, I worked on special projects. And so a lot of my job is prototyping and just designing things or seeing if things are possible, which is why I'm working on a weird random UI framework. Because yes, I was told it wasn't possible. And I'm like, yes, it is. And so I built one. So yeah, kind of my career in a nutshell. Can go into depth on anything else if anything else in that sounds interesting. So, okay, so we're getting a path. So this thing is happening. It's applying the outline. This is the code that I know doesn't work, and I know this can never, ever work, even though I should be able to do that. If I switch it to this will work. Bounds and a radius of 10, or let's just do 60. Okay, that needs it to be an Android rectangle. Thought I had an extension method to turn that into an Android rect. All right, we're just gonna actually we can do view dot bounds. There we go. So now this should give it nice rounded corners. So we know our ClipShape view is actually doing something, but we need to change this code. And I'm going to take a window off to another screen, and I'm going to try and find, and I probably need to bring Visual Studio Code, VS Code over so I don't open this. Something that's not open source yet, so I can't share it, but I will in the future. Let me go get some other code that does some similar stuff, and we will look at it, and we'll get this thing working properly. Give me 2 seconds over here doing that. Yeah, so how about yourself? What are you doing career-wise? Are you programming, learning, having fun? What languages do you build stuff in? Anyone else working on any fun projects? Okay, controls. All right, almost there. All right. So very, very, very similarly, we can do this code. All right, so I'm going to bring some new code over here that I was working on. And that's going to try hot reloading everything. Ignore that for now. And then let's also grab over. Okay, so now what we will do is we're going to save this stuff. We're going to cache things. Close that. I can bring VS Code back. Actually, do I have Moom open? This is how I set up all my windows, get them nice and fancy like, get them the right size. All right, so what we're going to do here is the code I brought over does some drawing stuff. And what it does is it will help us deal with this thing. All right, and so you'll notice this code is almost the same. So let's bring this over. Bounds, dun, dun, dun. Last, we're going to also bring this over. All right. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. So what we're going to do is we want to cache a lot of this stuff. I can do it off the canvas. Is that how I was doing it before? I was getting the view. All right, so view is this. We know that. All right, so we can just actually simplify this. Yeah, Matt actually works on some really, really cool stuff. Skia Sharp is like one of my favorite projects, and he works on that. So he does some really, really, really cool things with that, which is awesome. All right, so last path size. We'll just do this, and we'll cache that. That is a size F. Now shape dot. Oh, it's ClipShape. Get path for bounds. All right. Now this will work. Let's remove this outline provider stuff because that's just stupid. And whenever we apply this shape, we're going to say current path equals null. I just don't want to create this thing all the freaking time, over and over and over again. All right. ClipShape's that. Let's do turn off this clip to outline. Let's disable this outline stuff because it doesn't work unless you're doing a simple shape. Yeah, I don't know if I would have gotten through some of the interview process stuff too. I think a lot of us do feel that way. I completely agree. I don't know. I don't know how I would do it interviewing at most big tech companies. Nice thing is I kind of went through like small companies and then joined a startup and then got acquired. So I skipped. I went through the back door. Who knows if they would have let me in. Especially since I do things a very weird way. You'll notice that my coding style isn't like most people's. I think it's a good thing. Not everyone does. I don't know. I haven't been through the interview process, so I have no idea. That's kind of sad that I don't know. I hope so. I hope soft skills help. All right, so this is adding. Oh, provider. We need to disable this stuff. So during the Xamarin days, I used to do a lot with the hiring, and I used to interview lots of people, and soft skills mattered a lot depending on the role. A lot of the things that I interviewed people for were working with customers and kind of being experts in the field, and that mattered a lot. If you couldn't talk to people, you couldn't go help people with their code bases. So yeah, I think it depends on the roles. See, that ClipShape works. The problem is this is not GPU accelerated. This stupid thing is not fast. But it works, which I'm pretty happy that it just works. And I'm tempted to stick with this. We also are not drawing or adding shadows. The nice thing, I wish this outline provider thing worked, because if it did, you can do really, really cool things with it. So let's finish this thing out a little bit more. So now we have ClipShape working. Yeah. Let's try digging in a little bit more, because I like the rounding. I like that it works. So annoying. Do we use this overlay shape view right now? I don't think we are. We're just setting it. And we're not doing anything with shadows yet. But it's clipping. So on this, I'm going to go find a couple of links, and we're going to look at a couple of links together. So if we want to look at how to do this clipping shape stuff right, Android has a pretty nasty API we can dig through. And I'm trying to remember where I last put those. 1 second. So some of these links, and I can paste them in here if you want to look at it, I want to read through. There's some other frameworks who have done this, and they've done a good job of it. And I've tried replicating them, but it didn't work. Also, this thing can have some jagged corners. I didn't bring that up. If you zoom way in, it's kind of ugly. All right, where were these links? Have them, I know I do. Okay, wrong links. Steven, I know I linked them to you. Do you have them by chance? When I was begging you to fix this instead of me? Let me check another place. No, I have them over here. If not, I'm close in another private chat. I know I linked them to someone else who is not, I don't talk to as much, so there shouldn't be too many of them. All right, nope, not that. Okay, I found them. Found some links. All right, so we are gonna bring this over here. So there's a couple other shape view projects that are done in Java. And these things, is this the right one? Shape of view. Look, and they've got shadows and all this fancy stuff, and yeah, that's pretty nice. That's really nice. Now, the way these things work is they create a new paint. Oh, that's a different one. Steven found one. We can look at that one too. Nope, don't bookmark. All right, let's bring that over to this one. All right, so here's another one. Also really cool, really fancy. That's the type of stuff I want to do. It's exactly the type of stuff I want to do. And so I'm looking how these guys did theirs. What they did was they created a new paint and a clip paint, and then they do a drawable, and eventually they do it differently. They draw everything, and then they do this dispatch draw, just like I'm doing. They calculate everything, dun, 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 and then they do this whole draw clip shape thing. Which is very similar to what I'm doing. Right now, I'm doing the whole dispatch draw, and then I'm just saying clip to path. And I'm pretty sure this is slower and not GPU accelerated. Oh, it looked pretty good though. Let's go to that clip shape again. I am not seeing jagged corners. I mean, I guess if you zoom in really far. And then let's look on, there's a clip, is it this one? Look at that, beautiful. It's working here now. I wonder if we should fight through and try doing the clip path stuff that they're doing. Where they do, instead of clipping, they do the painting to the canvas with a clip shape. I don't know. Yes, the sign, the street sign, highway sign. But it's just nice how easy it is to just clip anything to these shapes. You can clip anything. Maybe we just leave it as it is. We go with it how it is for now. And we jump in and let's fix the drawing and the overlay stuff, because we don't have an overlay and we don't have a shadow. And that's a problem. It's a big problem. All right, so let's jump into the container view. All right, so container view. Okay, we don't actually need all of this stuff. This stuff is dead to me for now. Actually, I like it. I just wish it worked. So I'm gonna leave it commented out. I wanna make sure that we kill out the old provider stuff. We did. That guy's dead. We have our main view. We have our clip shape of overview overlay. So let's do convert to full property. Thank you. All right, now we'll do a new one for applying the overlay. So I am what's considered principal. I don't know. I don't know what it all means. So yeah, I'm a principal something. And what's even weirder is I'm a PM, but I'm an engineer. So I'm a engineer on the PM side. It's called a PM architect at Microsoft. It's fun. I enjoy it. I get to work with lots of different teams, so I get to do lots of different things and help with lots of fun things. All right, so overlay shape view. I already have. Oh, I put it way down there. I don't like that. Put it where you go, or up top with the other ones. Much better. All right, so we have our overlay shape view. So let's go into here now, and we're going to set that. And we need to apply the overlay. Now there's a couple different ways we can do this. We can just draw it during this dispatch draw. We can just do draw path. And then we pass in the paint. And the cool thing about this is we have lots of little helpers inside of this. So I can go overlay shape view dot get. Do we have anything with paints in this in Android? I can't remember. We have the Skia stuff, which is super awesome. So let's just say var paint equals new paint. And what goes into these things? Paint and paint flags. Dot color equals, in here we can do canvas dot, not canvas, overlay shape view dot color, get color. And it's going to want the control state, right? Default color. What is the default color? I have no idea. We're going to go with black. To color. There we go. Now it's an Android color. Now we should be able to do an A path. Now with the path, I wonder on the, oh, we need to set the thicknesses on these too, don't we? So paint dot line stroke width equals overlay shape view dot get stroke. What are we doing on iOS? Let's go peek. Let's cheat. Controls, container view. Overlay. On this one, they're not drawing the overlay shape view. Dun, dun, dun. This one, they just add an overlay view, which then does a shape layer and draws it. And it just sets the shape. All right, well, we will go to the sample then. And where do they set? Let's go to the sample if I can find it. So what we're going to do here is, I can't remember all these APIs. Yes, I'm the one who built a lot of it, but it's been a while, guys. It's been a while. Line width. All right, so there's a stroke. So we set the stroke. So I should be able to then ask for this off. Do we have get stroke? Get stroke color? And get line width. All right, so we have both of those. Overlay shape view. What's the shape view? It's not a shape. So we can ask it for its shape. We're just going to do that for now. So I think it'll be, this may or may not be the right way of doing it. We may put another overlaid layer, but I think this will actually work a little bit better. Overlay shape view dot shape dot get stroke color. Yeah, much better. All right, so now we have get stroke color. Overlay shape view. Are you, really? That is horrible. All right, I don't like that. That cannot be what we're doing elsewhere. And line width. All right, so now we set that, and line width does not need a color. Default to 1. We don't need to color on that, of course. All right, so now we can do, let's also save this overlay path. So if overlay shape view is not equal to null, we're gonna do all this stuff. That should be fine. I'm just trying to think as far as the clipping. I don't know. We'll find out. We shall find out. So we're going to do this inefficiently this first time. We're just going to do overlay shape view dot shape. You know what? And if I make this a shape, we can even ditch that current value because it'll auto cast it down to that. Now, tired of typing all that crap. Much better. All right, so now we can just say shape dot path for bounds. We're going to move this out because it's the same bounds. Bounds, and then we will paint. This may work. I have no idea. No idea at all. Now we just need to do the dot as Android path. Time to find out. Android's not the platform I'm the best at. I'm better at iOS. Like I said, I started as an iOS engineer forever ago when I first started doing mobile because that was the true platform back then. It was the only one really worth doing things for. And of course, I did do Android eventually and learned it, but I'm still not as good. Run, build. All right, so yeah, the code that we just wrote, what it should do is it should grab the shape, if we have a shape, and then it should get us a color, get us a stroke, and then it should just tell us to get the route for that shape and this size, give me something. So now if we scroll down, it did nothing. No shock there. I'm really not surprised. Hey, it did not actually go. All right, so what we need to do is this invalidate drawable. No, there's an invalidate for draw call. Is it just invalidate? I think it just might be invalidate. Invalidate. So now the first time this goes, that's going to be null. Then at some point, we might not actually be setting this. We're not. We are so not. And I'm going to change this to be a shape because I don't want a shape view. That'll simplify things a lot. All right, and then we're going to change the refactor some stuff. All right, that cleaned things up a lot. So now we just have a shape. We have our shape. Let's rename this thing. Rename Now let's rename this. Overlay shape, overlay shape. I like it. I like it a lot. Main view. So get your colors from your main view. So which one's the Comet view? Do we not get the Comet view here? Well, that's going to be painful. Because we need that. Without that, we can't get all the shape stuff. Do I not pass in the Comet view at all to this? We're going to comment this out for right now. And then we're going to go deal with, since it's not an outline anymore, we're going to change that to invalidate. So what we need to do here is we need to make this Android stuff actually work and do what we want. So inside of view handler, we should do something for here's mapping shadow, not supported. We should also have one for overlay. No? Of course not. Why would we? On Android, on iOS, let's look what iOS has. It should have overlay, map overlay. Check it out. Goes, it gets an overlay. Takes that overlay, sets this thingy up, creates a shape view. We're going to need to do something like that as well. Exactly what we need to do. So we also need to make sure our container view, though, gets the actual view. So we are going to, not on iOS. All right, so just like on is this the iOS one? Nope, that's the Android. Yeah, that's Android. All right, so on our view handler, you'll notice that we have our little mapper up top, which does this. We are going to go add that here. Much better. Much, much better. And we are also going to now go put this in here, and we'll put it right next to the ClipShape stuff. All right. So, virtual view, we just need that. We can do this as Android view handler. All right, so now from there, we can say has this. All right, shape, no, overlay shape. Wait a minute. Androids have an overlay view? Money, we're good. We can do this. This is gonna be even easier. Done. Done. All right, that just cleaned up our code a lot. We don't even have to do the drawing code. Android has an overlay. All right. I like it. All right, so we'll just do that. We'll just pass in, now I'm gonna undo everything I just did in that control. All right, so let's go to the container view. And let's undo all of this, changing it not to be a shape view. It's shape view now. Oh, it's read only? Oh, okay. Thank you. I don't know. Let's check. Let's just do... No, the overlay is all going to come from that stupid line stuff that doesn't work. Okay. Thought we'd get lucky. Not at all. All right, never mind. Ignore what I just did. Let's now go back to that again. Redo it all. Now on here. We're going to set that because we need it. All right, so if container view and doesn't that auto, okay, has container equals true. Container view is not equal to that. We will say overlay. Thought I renamed that. And we will also view handler dot container view dot view equals virtual view. We're going to set that first because we're going to need that when we draw. I really thought I just changed this all back to being shape. Not enough. All right. Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot, Steven. It's your fault I'm in this mess. That's all right. It needs done. Needs done. All right. So we have our shape. We have our shape view. We have our view to get this thing from. We can now draw this puppy. Should work. That should be it. We hooked it up. Only one way to find out.
60% of the time, it works every time.
No overlay. No overlay. Come on. I need an overlay. We have an overlay. We set it. Problem with the mass undoing. Yeah, that overlay uses that clip Comet, or that view outline provider. I forgot about that. That's how those overlay view things work. Problem is they only work with basic primitives, not just any path, which is stupid. Because if you look deep in the internals of how it works, it turns them all into a path anyway. So let me pass a path. Why not? Works the same. All right, so let's try this again. Is it? No, we didn't get any breakpoints. All right. Has container. This tells it to invalidate. Let's put here. All right. And everything's off a line because I stopped and started. Let's just... We should have a stroke color though, of fuchsia. And we should have a line width of like 4. Oh, it's not fuchsia right now. Did I miss ClipShape? There, I did. Clip sample. All right, we are painting. We have a color of white. I love that visualization. We have stroke width of 4. We have a bounds of really, really, really big. That's the problem. What's our clip path? No, because our clip shape should be using the same clip thing. So we should technically be getting back the same path sizes. I wonder if I need to paint before I clip. Or if I'm drawing it on that exact same line, so I need to inset it some. So let's do... There's a... I thought I had an extension for like insetting those. I bet that's it. Yeah, the path might be outside the clip. Because we're using the same frames, it's going to be the same exact thing. So that needs to be inset. And I thought I had a extension. Yeah, so I think I need to inset it on this. I think you're right, Matt. I think you're exactly right. So let's go find these rectangle extensions. Apply padding. That's what I want to do. So we're going to apply padding, new thickness. We are going to say paint.stroke width. All right, so that should move it in 4 pixels. Yeah, we'll try changing the color. But I think that, let's do that first. And then we'll go to clip sample 1. All right, clip sample 1. Press play. I don't know, let's change the color. Why'd that restart? Okay, so it is nothing. Am I missing something on a paint? Could be negative, you're right. I think you're right on that. Should be negative. No, but apply padding. What it does is it adds to it. So it was right. That's the whole apply padding, is it shrinks it in. Should. I tried negative. Yeah, that didn't work. All right, and so instead of that, let's do one that's half the size. Let's disable the clip shape really quick. Let's not clip. So that should, and we're going to remove this apply padding stuff. And let me think on that. All right, so let's go to clip sample 1. There's our draw call. It's not drawing over the image. It's not doing it. I'm doing something wrong. All right, on draw. Set color, stroke color. We set a stroke width. We set a color. Should be fine. Let's Make it really big. Nothing. I may need to go the shape view route. So if we undo all this, our code's going to be a lot easier because it just is. So instead of doing this, oh, I am not smart. Order of operations, guys. We were drawing and then dispatch, then telling it to then do the basing, which is put the image. Gotta do the image first. Order of operations, guys. So funny. All right. Now I need to tell that paint style or is stroke. Yeah, I'm not sure which one is that. Stroke. Thank you. All right, let's put our ClipShape back on. We still may need to inset things, but we now have an overlay. Overlay. ClipShape does a lot of things better. It's way faster too. In all honesty, I'd probably be better off putting a Skia view on top of this because I have a Skia view that can draw these and just draw the Skia view. It's way faster. All right, so if that I do think we still need to inset. New thickness of let's run that. I think this is right. And all of this code I'm doing here, if I was to do that Skia overlay view I was talking about, I wouldn't have to do that because I just say we have a Skia shape view. And I say, hey, Skia, draw the shape view. And I just give it the shape, make sure that it lays out the same size, and it would be fine. So I may actually switch to that, just disable touches on it. Ooh, too far, too far. Half of it needs to move half. Because if you want a 4 pixel border, we do need to inset it some, just half of it, not the whole thing. Now we should have a pretty border. Too far, too far. That's right. It still has some jagged edges though. So maybe let's go to the code. Why is that reloading back to the beginning? I need to fix hot reload on Android. Yay. It used to work. Wonder what I broke. Mighty fine looking circle. I think I need to deal with DPI though. I think that's the real issue. I'm not going to deal with all this. Yeah, I'm done with this. We're not doing it this way, guys. It's too much. We have a shape view. We do. And we can add the shape view, and we can stick the stupid thing up there and be done with it. And then I don't have to do any of this drawing. None of it. All right, so let's go to this. We're going to change this to actually be a shape view. Again, we're going back and forth. I will make up my mind eventually, but I'm done. I don't want to deal with drawing code. Drawing code is already done. And then if we fix it in one place, it's fixed everywhere, right? Why deal with this? Go die. All right, so shape view. So, no, it's handler. Is that right? We have something for handling shape views. Do we not have it for iOS? We have a shape view handler. I mean, for iOS. We don't have one for Android. How do I not have that for Android yet? I'm gonna make fun of John for that one. That's on John. John was supposed to do that. So, see why maybe we have a... We don't have a shape view. See, we have this for iOS. We just have a shape view. And all we do is we give it a shape. And guess what? It draws the shape. It does all the fanciness for us. Gradients, all the magic. Does it all. And I don't have to do anything. It just works. However, that is not the case right now. I have one for Skia. I know the plan was eventually do Skia for Android anyway. But we do have a Skia... Didn't we do the shape view here? Skia shape view. So we have a Skia shape view, which knows how to draw. Maybe we do this. Maybe we just force Android to use this one. It's easy enough to do. Okay, just create a new Skia view. We then ask for the renderer for it, and we'll be done. Doing it, guys. Doing it. All right, so on Android, I don't want to create, we will add a reference to Comet Skia. Android's going to force that because it's better. All right, so yeah. That's what we're doing. The Skia shape view. Now what we will do is views Skia view. No, we will just do this as a view Skia view, and then I view handler. Just trying to think of the easiest way to do this. We have an Android view handler. All right. Which there's going to be the same object. All right, so what we will do here is we will say if, basically doing this. All right, so we're going to do this manually though. So Skia view equals, actually, no, we don't have to remove it. We're not going to remove it. What we're going to do is, if it is null, we're just doing this. Now, does this let me use the new fancy C#8? Skia view. Okay, that equals value. So now if it's null, then we need to remove all this. Okay, so value is not equal to null. We can't use the fancy syntax because we need to add the view. If Skia native equals null, we're going to add it. And Skia native equals that we will do value.toView, which will get us what we need. And then we're going to do this. All right. So, and let's just drop that down a layer. All right, so we've just simplified that quite a bit. We're saying that if it's null, add that. Now, all we need to do is Skia view native as Android view handler. That view value. Done. Now we need to make sure that thing's not interactive, but I think that'll do it. New Skia. Done. Take that. We need to null out that shape view in case they remove it. All right, so let's try that. No, where's our color? Where's our view? I hate this stuff. I hate this part of it. All right. So what we're gonna do is go look at a Skia. Let me look at the Skia stuff. We need to, I know what the problem is. We're not actually setting this on this right here. Yes, the Skia shape view is going to do the border. It's going to just draw the overlay because I just put a layer on top of a layer. Dot add view. Can I tell it to go after? Main view. And put that in there. Oops, wrong order. So we want it to be on top of the image. Should be, but yeah, either way, put that on top of the image. All right, So we've got that. So yeah, we're gonna let the Skia thing do the shape view. I need to, on the layout, and we may need to do something with the Skia view. Tell it, I don't know. But I don't think so. Hopefully that's all we needed. So let's go look at the Skia Android. We're gonna put some breakpoints in here. Actually, we only need to put breakpoints in the shared, not on Android. In Skia view, where's the drawing? We're gonna have to disable touch. I know we need to do that. Oh, Skia shape view. That's what I'm looking for. All right, so and we're gonna need to change that background color to not be white. Oh, why didn't that do it though? What's its rectangle? The rect is right. It's got a rectangle. No, that... I don't know if that's right. Do I have a draw shape in Android? Because if I do, that'll take care of all that. Yeah, I mean, we can just hide the image too. And we need to give it some crazy colors. UI inspector thing. Yeah, let's see if that'll work. I don't see the little button here. Or there's the Android one too, right? Tools, device monitor. Oh, wait, there it is. Click that. Inspector's working. And then let's go into ClipShape. Clip sample. Okay, so we're doing something and we're drawing something. Go to this. That's funny, that triggers the redraw of that. All right, so we have Skia view. Yeah, they're in the wrong order. So we need to make sure when we're adding in our container, where's container? Android container. So what we're going to do here is when we add this to 0, always goes at the bottom. Put a breakpoint there. Did I not have a breakpoint there? That one didn't have an overlay. Example 1 does. Okay, so the main view is there first. So we should be fine. Oh, index +1. +1. Yeah, I just saw you mention that. +1, yes. Index +1. Yeah. iOS has the nice little methods. Add above, add below. All right, let's check that again. It should be pretty obvious because I'm pretty sure we're doing a background color is white. And we are. Perfect. So we will also default. We need to put a default. Hey, thanks for the follow, Taya Fernandez. I'm guessing that's how you say it. Ship it. Yes, ship it. We're getting somewhere. We're close. So the shape view by default, you'll notice it gets a background color of white. We're going to do transparent. Yeah, or maybe I do something to where I can set the default on it. Ooh, wow, wow, wow. All right, so we're just gonna go with that. I'm wondering if I need to be able to change that. Hey, glad I got it right. I mess up names all the time. I'm really sorry. I butcher names a lot. All right, so we're getting somewhere. We now have a clip shape. Should now be transparent. We should now just get that border over the top of it. Yes! And it dealt with like all the scale stuff for me. Check it out. We don't have all that weird overlay stuff that we did before. So exciting! That's really exciting. So exciting.
It's working! It's working!
That sound was really loud. All right, we're getting somewhere. Why is it hanging off what edge? What are you talking about? What's hanging off the edge? Oh yeah, that's my emulator. Is that better? No, it's cut. It's cut. It's just doing it really, really weird. No idea why. All right, there. All right. Yeah, I don't share the whole screen just because of like there's different things and I have the bar at the top. So I clip a little bit off my screen so I don't always notice those. I have a preview, but I don't look at it very often. All right, much better. I like it. All right, that's much better. Discard those changes. All right. Whew, that's some good progress on that today. I like it. Only thing I'm worried about is like shape sample. Oh, these use the native ones. Those use the native shapes, which is why they're not doing anything. But what we can do is on Android, tell it to always do those instead. All right, so what was I looking at? I wanted to look at Skia. They still look good, even with the transparent color. We're good. I like it. I like it a lot. Hey, Freeman. Welcome, welcome. All right, that's made a lot of progress. All the Skia stuff is fun. I really like the Skia controls. I need to eventually get some of these Skia controls into Xamarin Forms. I think I want to finish most of the controls and then do like a gallery that'll work for Xamarin Forms. So fun. I don't know if you can tell the subtleness of the animation. Yes, this is Skia drawn. Skia control sample, Matt. Do you notice the subtleness of that? Do you see how smoothly that is animated? Yeah, you can see the code. It's all open source. All right, let's check this out. This code is amazing. This shows off how awesome Comet is, just to brag a little bit. All right, Comet Skia. Go to the handlers. So, you want me to show you the really cool stuff about this stuff, Matt? Let's close some samples. Let's go to iOS since the hot reload's working there. And I will show you the fun stuff. Let's kill that emulator so that way I get some memory back. All right, screen size bigger. Nothing's cut off. Let's check this out. All right. So let's go to that Skia sample. So we have Skia controls. SK text, XK whatever. Check this out. Did I not do that on this branch? I didn't add what I thought I did. Maybe we add that because I thought I had this here. I don't see it. I don't see it. But either way, let's just say we're doing it a slightly different way. Oh, that's so lame. Okay, it's all right. I still have cool stuff to show you. So we have the Skia controls, which don't have much, right? I can still show you a couple cool things, right? So let's do this, right? Let's add on this button. On this button, we will do, actually, we'll just do this. Static, Skia control sample. All right, so Skia, don't I have a Skia handler? Oh, that's not going to work yet. Sorry. We'll just go look at the fun stuff. All right, so let's go look at the code for this. So we have these handlers. The nice thing about the way these are done is maybe we'll add the stuff I want to add because we should be able to do it. I am annoyed I don't have it there. All right, so let's look at this. So inside these Skia controls, we have these button handlers. The way these are designed is we have a base Skia control. These have a draw mapper. This is what I was going to show you hooking into, but I can do it. It's just not ready for you. No, I should be able to tie into that because that exists in this namespace. Okay, we can do it. We can do it. All right, so let's do static Skia control sample. Comet.skia.button handler. Draw background. Okay, we are going to map this background, right? So now we are going to, oh wait, sorry. Draw mapper. I can't remember the name. Let's go. There we go. Skia environment.draw background. All right. So what's really cool about my Skia stuff is I can now say all Skia drawn buttons, all of them. When it's time to draw, call this. I don't remember what the interface is for that. Equals that. All right, so let's hit down. So now I have full power over all these things. So I can even go as far as just saying, I'm in charge of drawing this thing. I can call the existing one and say button handler dot map draw background color, or draw, it's under map. It's on the view, it's on the root one. Comet.skia.view. Oh no, it's control. So I can just use this control and draw the background. So this is a mixture. This is iOS, Android, it's everything. Everything. So I can say, hey, draw this canvas draw this background for me. And then I can give it the dirty rectangle, pass in the control, and then pass in the view. Now it's a Skia canvas. I can draw whatever I want on top of that, or I can disable that background color, and I can inject into the drawing at the controls per level. So that's the one thing I want to show you, Matt. You can do that easily, hook in per level. I have it a branch I need to get in that where you can do that here. So I can say for this button only, let me do this. But I can hook in and override all the drawing per level on each control. And you'll notice that these controls have a lot of levels to them. So you can also change up the drawing order. There's a default drawing order. And yeah, here's all the draw stuff for the default Skia controls. And then button has the same thing where it has, here is the draw. Oh no, button doesn't need it. It uses all the default. But the slider has its own draw mapper for drawing the track, the progress, and the thumb. So you can override and just draw the thumb the way you want, which is really, really exciting. And we're doing Skia right now as well, Freeman. Skia works for anything. It's everywhere. All right, so really cool. You can just inject and draw per layer on any of the controls. Now let's look at those controls. Hopefully I didn't scare you off, Matt. I know you want to see these. But yeah, drawing per layer is awesome. And each control is in charge of saying its draw order as well. So it has the default drawing order. And so there's a method that's called per instance that says, hey, get the draw order. And you can change that. So like progress bars and things like that, they set their own drawing order. Guess what? It's just the default. And you can, I do this thing where I like inject in, create the list, insert these two on top of text. Really nice. All right, so let's look at one of these things like that toggle, because the toggle is really one of the hottest controls. So it has all this thing by drawing by layer as well. It has the default colors, but it's so simple. Draw the track. Draw the thumb. And that's it, it's telling it to draw. That's it. Okay, I just draw, and then I can get the color and stuff based on the state. So you'll notice when I draw the thumb, I get fill color. I can, yeah. That's it. That's it for my drawing code. Now you're like, but wait, that was animated, right? Because of course it was animated. Well, my Skia controls all have a state. So if we go to the default Skia control, it deals with all the touches for you. And there's a control state. And on control state changing, if we go back to this toggle, I deal with toggling set the state, right? On state change, wait, where's the state? Aha, right? So all I have to do is say animate the thumb progress. At end interaction, animate to 0. On press, I can just toggle to that percent. I can just animate directly to the percent. Animate to that progress. And I have that squish state. That is, I'm trying to remember what caused that. That is, I had something on that state for that. Where's that width on that? I thought it was on that draw. So I have these pill shapes where I have the thumb pill shape, right? So that's the thing. So I can just say thumb circle. That's what I do. So I just have to draw that circle. And then I thought I changed, oh, thumb rect. I lerp on the progress. So I can just say, hey, how far along you are. Just set its rect to how far through the progress we are. But what about that squishing? I'm trying to remember. I had one for that squish. So Skia is a 2D drawing layer that is not for anything in particular. It's what Google uses low level to draw Chrome. So anywhere that Chrome runs, it runs. Now, I am using Skia Sharp, which is a C# binding to that, which is maintained by Matt, the guy talking in chat. It is just a drawing framework. It just gives you a canvas and things like that. What you're seeing here is a new framework I've been working on called Comet, which is powered by Xamarin, which is a cross-platform framework. So it's kind of, we're touching lots of different things right now. Where's the squishing? I know I did something to, oh, stretched. Here's the stretched. So I just say the stretch size, right? Whether it's stretched or not. And so that's how I do when you press, I do the squish, and then I slide it over and it goes down the unsquished. So all I have to do is ask for these things out, and animating these things are like super, super simple. I just say animate, set the progress, and that's it. That's the entire animation for the whole framework. That's it. Because then all I have to say is like, hey, lerp based on that progress. How far through the progress are we? That's how wide the stretch should be based on the progress. And that's it. Like, yeah. So nice. It's so nice. It was like, this is under 200 lines of code with that animation, and most of this is boilerplate. Like, this does not count for actual code. Yeah. It's really 20, 30 lines of actual code. So yeah, all that's boilerplate. That doesn't count. I don't think we start until line 49. And then, yeah, so 50 lines of code. All right, and then you'll notice the slider works all the same way. Same thing, just, yeah, super, super simple. So Skia, here, let's bring up a window, new window. So Skia is this. It's just a drawing layer. It's a drawing library. And typically you're not using in C#, but we have Skia Sharp, which lets you use C# to draw using it. And that's this guy. So it's, you can, like, for doing this is Skia, for doing Skia, you can do Skia in JavaScript, you can do it from C++, you can do it from like any language you want. So yeah. But I'm just using the C# wrapper since I'm doing all this in C# anyway. But yeah, the animation, and also, oh, on the text. I know on my text field. So it's super easy for the caret to animate this thing. On start input, animate, cursor %. And it repeats. So that just tells that cursor blinking what % visible. So I wouldn't call it, it's a library. I wouldn't call it, it's not a language. I mean, it's just a 2D drawing, it's a 2D drawing library. It's got its own API, and I'm using it in C#. So it's not a language. I mean, it's just like any other library that's out there. There's libraries, I don't know very many Haskell libraries, but I'm pretty sure there's plenty of Haskell dependencies you could bring in to do different things, maybe to interact with databases, to make web calls. It's just one of those for drawing. And I just happen to be using it in C#. All right, so yeah, in this animation stuff for the blinking cursor, all I say is set animation, cursor blink %, and I say go to 1%, so full alpha. And then I say its duration, and then it goes back and forth between 0 and 1, and I have it auto reverse. A lot of animation things, you'll notice that when they go, they'll start at frame 1, so it goes off, go to 1, and then it just goes start back. I wanted it to fade both directions, so my animation lets you auto reverse and true, and so that's all the thing I have to do for my text input. Yeah, text input. That's it. This is the blinking cursor. That's it. And then on end input, I tell it to remove all the animations. So that's blinking cursor. And then I have a draw cursor call. I mean, in here, if caret is not visible, don't. And then if you're drawing the cursor, I just set its alpha based on get the current percent. So is stuff blurry right now? I can check my settings. I am streaming at 1080p. I should be. It does do a scaling because the input's 4K. So like I'm inputting the streaming from this machine 4K input, and I'm only outputting it at 1080p. But you should be able to jump up to a high 1080p quality, and it should look good then. But yeah, this API for being able to draw, then animate, and then just say, hey, draw the caret at this alpha percent. That's it. Cursor. I lerp between, and I don't go all the way faded. I just go from 0.2, just lerp the cursor color with an alpha of 0.2 based on that percent, and it'll just go between those two colors, and I'm done. This whole being able to lerp and say lerp between these, between this percent, just makes it so easy to do all these animations. So yes, check out the, and all this is up there, Matt. You can go play with any of it. It's in source, Skia, handlers. So I haven't built all the controls. I have text input, and if I go to the Skia control sample, I can actually click and you can see the blinking cursor. And I can delete and type. I can't enter, I can't exit. I have no way of exiting yet. I haven't finished it all the way, but yeah. So I can still type and swipe. Yeah. And I don't have like Control L, A, none of that stuff's working yet. But yeah, it's working. Oh, and also I did the animations on this button, if you wanted to see that as well. The buttons, same thing, super simple. This is where it had the animation code I was thinking about, because it has the different control states. So on control state change, this is all the animations for that button. And you'll notice it does like the radius, it does a circle to fill it. And it does it based on where you clicked. And this is the entire code to make that work. Yeah. I mean, I say what the end animation should be, where that starts from, and then I just say animate that. And yeah, so I've been able to do really fancy animations, and I'm going to bring this animation framework that I have to do some of this. I want to bring some of it over to Forms to make it a little bit easier, so we can do some Skia type stuff there as well. Because yeah, and then I just draw that. So when he's saying native APIs, you'll notice that this is a Skia drawn button. As far as iOS is concerned, this is just a view. Now I've taught it about some accessibility things, so it knows it's a button, versus if I do this, this is an iOS button. This is an iOS label. So accessibility is the hard part, making all these things accessible, but these are native controls. And you'll notice this looks like an iOS slider. It looks different compared to my slider. So yeah, which links do you want? Oh yeah, absolutely. You can pay stuff. Absolutely. So as long as they're appropriate links. But yeah, so this is native UI buttons. 100% native UI versus the Skia drawn one. So they're just different. And I've been following the material theme. But all of these Skia controls also data bind using all the magic data binding that Xamarin or that Comet brings along, which is fun. All right. Any other things we want to look at, or any other things we should fix in this stuff? Pretty excited about getting the Android clipping stuff working and overlays working now with that. But see, that's the cool thing about building out a Skia toolkit. iOS and Android. Yes, this project is 100% public. So yeah, one thing about this, doing things for iOS and Android you have to use the iOS and Android toolkits, and they're going to look a specific way. But now what happens when you want to bring it to a Linux device? Linux toolkits don't have pretty UIs. Most of them don't. I mean, GTK Sharp's so ugly. Or I want to put it on some other random device. Skia basically runs everywhere. So anywhere that runs Skia, I could do the Skia UI. And that's where I find the most benefit. Or for certain controls to look a certain way, I doubt I'll ever want to just blanket swap everything out, but I'm gonna want to swap some out and do things that way. And then also, like, Matt, once you give me web stuff, we can just run this in the web as well and have it look and feel the same. All right, what else should we work on, guys? I have never done Haskell. I should. It's one of those things that I wanted to look at. I want to look at Rust more. I want to look at some Haskell stuff. I want to play with Go. There's a few of these languages that I just need to spend some time works. Yeah, I understand Elm. So Elm, MVU, this Comet framework, is built on Elmish principles. It's not exactly the same, but it's similar. So you'll notice how you're doing this, where you build your things and then you also do on the action, do things like this. One of the big differences is there's not an explicit model that's passed around during the view updates. So that's one of the big differences on Comet. So I have data binding as well, which these other frameworks don't typically do. They always just diff the tree. On mobile devices, I don't always want to diff the tree. It's not that efficient. But so on that, like one of those simple samples, so you'll notice that this is very similar, right? Build these things out. We have this read-only state, and so you do modify the state rather than passing a message around, because that's typically the difference on like the true Elm thing. You define your model, your message, and then you pass that message, you manipulate the message, pass that with the button press. I just say modify the state, and you can't edit button everything on its is read only, everything on text is read only. You just manipulate the state, and then it's going to rebuild the UI based on that state. So similar, very, very, very similar principles. So you'll notice a lot of the stuff, yeah, it's close, not identical. Like I said, it's inspired by it, but not identical. All right. Is there anything else we should work on? Anything else you guys want to see? If not, I may end soon. I don't know what else to code. How far is Comet from a 1.0? So, I want to, right now, Comet, the core itself is really good. The controls, what they do, awesome. The native render part is pretty far away. So one thing that I want to do, and I want to eventually come up with, and I've been playing with it, is finding a way to reuse the Xamarin Forms renderers for Comet handlers. If I can do that in an easy way without bloating and making Comet heavy and truly depend on Xamarin Forms, then 1.0 is not far away at all, because I mean, there's not much to this stuff. If you look at how simple each of these views are, that's it. The whole Comet principle is views are small and simple and don't have much on it. So a button only has text and a click. That's it. And so the actual Comet library is really, really small. The big part is all these renderers and doing that native stuff with ClipShape and things like that. And so if I can get everything, all the ducks in a row, to make it to where we can reuse the handlers from Forms without adding bloat, Comet could be really close to a 1.0, like really close. I'd say a few months. So yeah, which is really exciting. And at that point, I would also reuse Forms layout, because Comet layout, it's not bad, but it's got some bugs. So yes, that's where we're at on it. So. And I've been busy with other things at work, so I haven't been able to spend a lot of time on Comet when I was working on it pretty much full time for a few months there. So, but yeah, there's a couple things I want to redo. You'll notice I recently redid and cleaned up some of the binding stuff. Yes, it is open source. Pull requests are definitely welcome. If you wanted a place to look at, I would say the platform-specific renderer stuff. But I mean, the controls themselves in Comet are just so small. Like, nothing is big. even like a list view is tiny. So it's a bit more, but this actually controls like 4 different types of list views in one file. And it's the biggest control in there, but it's not that big. I mean, this stuff is tiny. So building this out, it's just, yeah, it's the native side. The native side is what gets me. I actually really like the way that Comet does a lot of its list view stuff. I think its list view stuff is pretty dang slick. So yeah. Create a list of items, say list view of that items, and then this is the view for that. That's it. Super, super simple. Or you can do it to where you're loading stuff out. Did I not have one? I thought I had one. There's multiple APIs. So right now this is like the views and the headers. So this is pulling it from a list. I have a sample that I did on GMusic. So forms. So if we go here on this GMusic forms, in here I have a branch called Comet. And in here, when I was working on it, I did show off the new list view API. I think it's this one. Yeah. Oh, so I have views, Comet. So let's go to views, GMusic, views, Comet. Oh, it switched back. Sorry for kids screaming there. It's actually happy sounds. They're playing in the hallway right outside my office. Their favorite place to run and play. So this is actually getting data from the database, which is pretty cool. And so it's like a sectioned list view of songs. And then you'd say what the header is, how many, and the counts, and then the views, which is pretty cool. I think that's really nice. And so this is a virtualized that's loading from a database. And that's all the code to load from the database. And this will display all of the, I think this one just lists all, it shows all the songs. Yeah, it shows all the songs for a particular artist. And I'm even filtering the database by artist ID and group on song. So yeah, it's super easy API. I argue it's even easier to do virtualized lists like this than Forms is, because that's a lot harder to do in Forms. But yeah, I like it. It's fun. I really like it. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions or anything you guys want to talk about, or any code we should write? If not, I might be getting done for the day. No? Nothing? Nothing you guys want to talk about? Nothing you want to build? I'm going to check and see who else is streaming. Let's find another one of the live coders to go and check out. Thanks for the follow, Freeman. Thank you. Yeah, the Skia stuff's something I want to spend a lot more time on. There's a lot more that I can do there, and there's a lot of really cool things that can be done in Skia. Thanks for building and maintaining such an awesome library. And our live coders, who is live? So there's an entire live coders team, if you guys don't know about it, and it is full of people, all different types of things, all building different kinds of, they build lots of things, and everyone's building lots of different, some are building games, some are, yeah, I think, is Anna Geek? I think we can go check hers out. She is, unless she's, yeah, let's go check out Anna. All right, but thanks guys. This is fun. She's working on her stream overlays right now, I think. And I'll be back to work on some more of this stuff a little bit later, but thanks guys for hanging out. If you have questions, always ask, tweet me, message me, email me, however you want to talk to me, ask questions. If you got suggestions on stuff you want me to work on stream, definitely let me know. All right, thanks guys. All right, bye.